Okay, I'm just going to show you guys how to stretch your own piece of paper. I'm using the 300 gram SM paper, so make sure you're kind of using the same, but the same process applies. So I'm using a little bit of hot, but mainly cold, so you kind of want it lukewarm. So you can kind of see there. The water is tepid now, so that's perfect. I've got an A4 piece of paper here ready to put into that, so I'm just going to leave that in the sink and let it just soak for a couple of minutes. I've got my gum tape, which is this stuff here. Okay, and I've also got an art sponge, which is this one here. So I'm using this just as my art sponge, so make sure that you have a sponge similar, that you're not kind of cross-contaminating with food, so it's just used for art. And I'll show you the next process of stretching in just a second. But you're going to leave your piece of paper in the water for, you know, maximum about a minute. Okay, so I'm now going to take my piece of paper out of the water, and I'm just gently kind of wobbling it over the sink just to kind of get any loose strips. The board that I'm putting it on is dry and it's really thick as well. So I'm just going to pop that on. I'm going to pop it in the middle like this. And I'm just going to use my sponge, which I'm just currently wetting. So I've just wetted the sponge, and I'm going to get the gum tape ready. So I'm going to use that and slightly measure out like so. Get that a bit wet again, the sponge, and literally put that on. So you kind of want an overlap of about 5 mil, say half a centimetre in all Nat's tips. So I'm just going to wipe away the excess like this with the water, and get another bit of gum tape, and again using the sponge, just wetting that down. Oh, my knee's going to go, kneeling on the bathroom floor. So I don't have a fancy studio to do this at the moment. It literally is just doing it in my bathroom, and that's something that all of you guys can do, whether that's in your kitchen or your bathroom, whichever one. And that goes over there, like so. And swiping. I notice that I'm using the soft edge. If you press too hard, you'll find that you get lots of residue from the paper. So it literally is just a skimming of the paper, just to make sure that you have flattened it out, so to speak. So again, I'm just going over the top like that, and that's done then. So what I want to do now is just let that dry. You can turn it up on its side, so I could, prop it up on its side and let it dry like that. That would be fine. You could just leave it flat to dry. If you notice that it goes a bit wobbly, the paper, then it could be that you've not stretched it correctly. It might be that you want to have a go at doing a couple of pieces at once, just to kind of familiarise yourself with that process. It's really important though that the board is not wet when you first lay the paper on. So the paper is wet, and that's fine for the paper to be wet on both sides, that's right, but you want to make sure that the board is not wet. Otherwise what will happen is the paper will stick more to the board because the board is already wet, and then it's really hard to get off. I've had a couple of situations with that. So just that's why, if you want to have a go with doing a couple of pieces, and then that's kind of a good way of experimenting. But you need to have your paper stretched ready for the next course that I'm doing, which is a watercolour of a hare, because of the way in which we're going to use the water on the paper. Okay, thanks. Bye.